It was a Saturday night, and I heard Dad say, "Rick got killed tonight." They recommended a closed casket because they had to pry him out of the car, and him and his friend were both killed. It really hit me when I came up to the house after the funeral, and there's his old, dirty tennis shoes sitting on the back porch. That got to me too. It was just, it was so real. Every time I would close my eyes, I would hear Dad saying, "Rick got killed tonight." I just said it over and over and over again. I kept hearing that in my head.
When I was a kid, my uncle was killed in a car accident. Obviously, it was a heartbreaking tragedy for my mom and her siblings and her parents, my grandparents. But I didn't really connect to it or know it very much because I was an infant. Fast forward 45 years later, I get a message through Ancestry.com. And the message was from a woman who was adopted, and she was looking for a biological family. She knew about her father. He had been killed in a car accident in 1972.
He said, "Are you sitting down? I got this. I want to read you this email that I just got." The best I remember on the email was that she said, "I might be related to you." I thought, this is just unimaginable, you know, that we could have a niece. And I said, "Well, why didn't Rick tell us?" They said he did not know.
Okay, she's arriving gate C92. So I have to find out where gate C92 is. All right. At first we didn't believe it, but then we did some testing, and a long story short, turns out she's his daughter. My Uncle Rick died not knowing that his girlfriend was 3 months pregnant. She later gave birth to the baby, gave the baby up for adoption, and the baby grew up, and as an adult has been looking for her family. She found me, and we're about to meet her. Okay, she's here. We just landed. I said, "Woohoo!" Hi, how are you? Good to meet you too. Good to see you. Welcome, 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 welcome. Come on. So everything good? You got all your, okay, good. Welcome. Welcome. We're gonna go right down here.
I always knew I was adopted, and I had a really good childhood. I had really good parents. But as I got older, I wanted to know more about, you know, who I was, where I was from, where my biological family was from, just who I was. I was able to see my adoption papers when I was 16. It was supposed to be a closed adoption. I wasn't supposed to ever get adoption papers. I was able to see my biological mother's name, my grandmother's name on there because she was a minor. And then it just said my father was deceased. Sorry. It was just kind of like a blow. I was like, I'm never gonna meet him. I'm never gonna be able to. You just feel like insecure. Sorry. And
Okay, so you moved you moved to Morristown as an infant.
Right.
You said, how old were you when you moved?
Like 4 or 5 days old.
Okay. And do you remember it? Probably not, right?
No. You're kidding.
Yeah. Was it
So
very
I had the best clue since I had my adoption papers. It had the address on it where they lived at the time in Jacksonville. So I decided to write a letter. I wrote the letter to my grandfather and I just waited and waited. And then a couple months went by and I got the letter back, but it wasn't from my grandfather, it was from my grandmother. And it was a really nice letter and it had a couple pictures in it of my biological mother, and one was of her and her brother. And she was excited about it. And she also said that she had told my biological mother, her daughter, about it. And she wasn't happy at all. She was just like, oh, I knew this day would come. And she was like, kind of like full of dread. And my grandmother told me this, but she said that she was really happy and that they wanted me to come to Florida and meet, and that my mother was willing to meet me like one time and answer some questions. I was really, really nervous on the plane. Like, I actually had like a panic attack, which like I never had panic attacks before. And then I couldn't find them anywhere. And I was like, oh, maybe they're not coming. And maybe this was a crazy idea. And then all of a sudden I saw them, and my grandmother was about my height, and she was really nice. I knew it was them right away, and it was strange a little bit because this was the first time I ever met anyone where I felt like they like resembled me, because I've never seen that my whole life. And then we went back to their house in Jacksonville, and then like we waited for my biological mother to arrive.
So you moved from Jacksonville when you were 5 days old to Morristown, New Jersey, with your adopted parents.
Yes.
And you stayed there till you were about
Seven, yeah.
7. Okay, all right. And then you moved to Roxbury,
Right.
and that's where you stayed until you went to college, or even beyond, right?
No, I didn't live there until my mom had the heart attack. I moved back in there for a couple months, but other than that, I didn't really live there after high school because I just went to college and
Gotcha.
I would
You
come
were just
back
gone.
for like breaks and stuff.
Yeah, okay. But they were still living in Roxbury while you were in college.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. And you went.
I
for
asked her a
1
lot
year.
of questions, like about my biological father, and she gave me some information, but a lot of it was just like basic information, like he was in college, he was 20, he was a nice guy, he was smart, which I like to hear those things, but I still wanted to find out more. I just wanted to find out more information, and I wanted to find out who he was. So of course I asked who he was. And she told me his first name, but she wouldn't tell me his last name. So I just kind of left there with more, questions.
Any of this look familiar?
Yeah, kind of.
Is this the hospital that you thought you
Yeah, I
were
thought I
born
was
in?
born in.
So your family told you were born in this hospital?
Yes, until I was 16, then I found out.
What's this hospital called?
Morristown Memorial.
Morristown, they told you were born here, and it was until you were 16 when you got your adoption papers that you realized that you were not born here. You were born in Florida.
Right. Oh my God, it looks so small.
Is this it?
This is it, for sure. But it looked huge when I was a kid. We would go on these sidewalks. We weren't allowed to go on the grass.
So wait, as a kid, you could not play on grass?
Well, we could in the back, but not on this grass. Look, they changed the rules. There's a kid out there.
Yeah.
There's a kid out there.
Hold on a second. Hey, kid! Don't you know the rules?
We used to all play back here on our bikes and our big wheels. And I remember there being a seesaw and swings. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I have a lot of great memories here. It just feels weird to be back here.
So at what point did your relationship with your mother end and your grandmother? I know that eventually, but what year was that? And tell me
With
a
my
little
biological mother, I only saw her one time. That first time I went in '94. That's the only time I ever saw her. 5 days before my wedding, I got this letter from my grandmother saying that she wasn't going to communicate with me anymore. She didn't. She said in the letter that she knew that my biological mother didn't like it, And now she had a great-grandchild. So my grandmother was like babysitting her, and in the letter she said that my biological mother told her that if she kept like communicating with me, that she wouldn't be able to see her anymore. I still try to keep in touch with my grandmother. I would still send her letters, and then eventually I had 2 daughters, and I would send her pictures, and I would be like, well, maybe she'll see the pictures and she'll like answer, but I've never heard from her again after that. So that's 20 years now.
Wow. And you definitely haven't heard from your biological mother at all.
No. And I tried to contact her once on Facebook, and it was after my mom passed away, and nothing. Like, I don't know why I bothered. I don't even know, like, it's not like I thought, no, now she's gonna be my mom because I don't have a mom, but I don't know, I thought she would at least say something, but she didn't even respond. I saw an article about the accident, and it was an article about like every accident in Florida for the weekend or something like that, and then I found 2 sentences about the accident, and I knew right away, this has to be the accident, it has to be. So that gave me like the biggest hope, because I thought it has to be one of these people. From there, I started doing research, and I actually found a yearbook picture of Rick's, and then actually found 2. So I looked at the pictures, and I thought right away, I thought my younger daughter looks like him. That looks like her. Maybe I'm crazy, but I thought that looks like so much like her. like that, it has to be him, it has to. I felt like really happy. I felt like, wow, you know, this could really be it. Finally, this could be like, maybe I'm going to find the answers I've been looking for so long, finally. At this point, I was feeling like, well, maybe I'm just not going to find anything else out. Maybe there just isn't a way. Maybe I'm not meant to be in touch. But then I got an email from Ancestry saying that someone had posted a picture of someone in your family tree. And then I looked at it, and it was Rick Chatton. Someone had posted a picture of Rick Chatton, and he looked like he was maybe, I don't know, maybe about 10. So I was pretty excited to see that. And then I saw it was Phil Garrison that posted the picture. So I figured out that he must be one of my first cousins. I thought, okay, I'll give this a try. So I sent an email to Phil to see what would happen. Hi, Philip. I think it is likely we are related. I have been doing some research into my ancestry for the last few years. It's more than a few years, but I was born in Jacksonville, Florida in January of 1973 and adopted to a family in New Jersey. Last year, I took the DNA test from Ancestry, and I have had many matches come up that were somehow related to Richard Chatton. Sorry this all sounds crazy to you. I don't know why I just can't give up, but something makes me want to just know more about him. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to read this. Stacy Cole.
I wrote, it was just like a paragraph. I put, hi, Stacy. Wow.
Like every time I heard back from you, I just was like really excited. I was like, oh, this is so cool.
The first time we met Stacy at the airport, Nina and I were there, and we went up to meet Stacy when she got off as far as we could go at the Daytona airport. She didn't come, and all the people came out.
I feel like it took a while. Like I was toward the front of the plane. I had a really good seat, so I was one of the first people off. And then I like went to the restroom. It took a while because I was just nervous. And then finally I'm like, okay, I need to just go do this. And then I remember like walking down. I was kind of the only person by that point, like walking like through the airport because it's a really small airport. And
there's a blind woman down there.
Where?
Down there waiting by herself. I don't know.
Stop. Turn around. Stacy.
toward the end, I saw them right away. I saw Nina, Aunt Linda.
We were all crying, of course, and it was just, and I feel like crying now just to think about it, reliving that. The first time we saw her, It was just, it was amazing.
Unemotional, and I'm really crying. That night.
I'm like, don't cry. So nice to meet you. Oh my goodness. Hi.
Get our picture.
Okay. Ready?
Yes, she's been ready.
Good, I took several.
I think things happen for a reason sometimes, and you never know like what the plan will be, and when things will come together. So if it's not today, maybe it'll be tomorrow, maybe it'll be 10 years from now. But I'm really happy I didn't give up, because definitely it's been like a dream come true. Like finding out who I am and more about who I am, and finding this like awesome family that I'm a part of, and I can't even believe it still. I can't.
The gift of Stacy has given us a connection.
Like it's more than I could have ever dreamed of, basically. And sometimes I still can't believe it's real. And yeah.